It seems like the tide is shifting though. Like
Yeah.
it seems to be getting closer and closer to either their house of cards collapsing or them lashing out and making that final last dash at just open authoritarianism.
I mean, given that there's like, I don't know, the the weakness by Chuck Schumer to split DHS funding off from the rest of this other funding bill, um,
Yeah, they don't really
instead
have a
of
genuine
standing their
opposition
ground right
trying
there.
to like. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
like
what's their incentive
the
to be better if they have nothing
right,
genuinely
right,
fighting against them? Your
and
opponent is
even
Chuck
and
Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Like, okay, yeah, we're gonna give
right,
that our all.
like please give me ops like Chuck Schumer
Mhm.
and Jeffries that will probably bend over backwards to help me accomplish my ends so long as I give them a pittance, throw them a few pennies, and in some
Neville
cases, like
Chamberlain
literally.
is rolling over in his grave right now, thanking them for erasing him from the history books. When you look up appeasement, is
Mhm.
the first entry.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I
They
mean,
have they
and
have collectively eclipsed that level of because it's essentially to the same enemy. I mean, like you've seen it
mhm.
before, and like, what's your excuse this time?
Well, the thing about it you don't understand is that
Well, actually,
if we're too harsh to the president, then he'll be harsh to us, and I'll get
he
arrested.
has no choice. Yeah, we're making
And
him do it. Like,
yeah,
totally not classic abuser behavior.
Chuck Schumer's whole thing is self-preservation. I mean, he said it
Entirely.
pretty much explicitly before.
And enrichment
Uh,
and
yeah,
Israeli self preservation enrichment.
yes, yeah, and
His
and I
own
do
and
think uh, I do think that
oh, excuse me.
honestly, some of this last Epstein drop, there is so much to unpack from it. The last
Holy
Epstein drop is
smokes, you are not kidding.
crazy. It is absolute
Insane.
like I've been on the internet for a long time. In a lot of
Yeah.
ways I was raised by the internet.
Yeah,
I've
same.
been reading horrific shit for a long time. And that is like,
It's
I mean, it's at the
it's
point
as
where
bad as yeah.
you can't compare it to other stuff. It's just again, like we were talking about last week. It's just shit compared to shit. It's fucking horrific all
Literal
the way down.
fucking enough film levels of horror show bullshit going on.
And the implication of Mossad having some
Uh-huh.
influence
Uh-huh.
in this whole Epstein affair.
I would
Um,
be shocked to learn that were the case. Just
well,
shocked, I say.
there's some of that in these files right now, and I feel like it's hard, and it really gets difficult in my mind to detach the democratic establishment's appeasement of Israel and this. Like the back scratching of the circular back scratching of rich people in politics and billionaires, whether it's Chuck Schumer, whether it's Joe Manchin, whether it's Donald Trump. It doesn't matter which side of what level of power necessarily, or specific influence, or which
Jamie
party
Foxx
they're in.
or Robin Leach.
Mm, mm. There's so much of this circular back scratching, this constant like looking at like Nicki Minaj, I
Well,
think
it's just
really
the
actually puts it
mutual
very well.
destruction of it. Like, if one of them goes down, they know they all have the power to take the others down with them. So that built-in mutually assured destruction kind of enforces a
Yeah,
certain level of like insulation, I suppose.
I guess, but man, I don't know. Like, let's say, like, so we've
I
got
mean,
a
if it goes off,
history
it just
of,
turns into a circular firing squad. Like,
but we've got a history of like flawed heroes in our history, like
oh, for
like
sure,
we got a
of
like a
course,
long track record of that in our history, and that's just the way humanity works. But if you got somebody like Chuck
absolutely.
Schumer, who is probably mostly going to be a part of like insider trading and shit like that and Zionism, he gets a bit of a pass if he goes down in a ball of flames because he was unraveling a an international child sex trafficking ring within which the president
Yeah,
seems to be more, as more information comes out, he seems to be more of
more
a
and
big
more
player in
central
it.
to it.
Yes,
Not just a
absolutely.
big. I think the central figure. I mean, it's the Trump files that Epstein is a part of.
Yeah. I mean, I said that I think earlier in the month, and I think that even when I said it at that point, there's still a little bit of doubt in my mind, earlier this month about it. But just the way that the cover up keep, like, it's like knowing that he's complicit, obviously, but his position as a central figure in it, something I still had some doubt of. And as more time goes by, as the cover up keeps going, and as we see what, in my mind, has to be to some level rogue FBI agents allowing some stuff that they maybe should have been redacting to get initially posted unredacted, that implicates
Most
Trump
epic
in
level
some
of
of the
fuck up
most
in history,
fuck up or on
or
purpose.
purposeful, or
I
purposeful, or yeah.
It's happened so many times. Like,
I love the idea of that. Like, fucking someone within the agencies that still has some backbone that didn't get purged, because that happened a fucking lot. That happened throughout the intelligence community and the military community. Like,
mm,
there was a lot of purging of non-loyalists,
right,
but there's
right.
still a lot of principled people in there, in theory.
Well, and I would be willing to bet that there are even people that were ostensibly okay with a lot, and to this day are still okay with a lot of Trump's a lot of his platform, right? Of just
Yeah,
virulent racism, deportation,
the Michael Boltons of
detention.
the world, for example. Like, he was with all of it to a point, but, like, he had his red lines in the sand where he actually still believes in America to some degree and wasn't willing to
Mhm.
let Trump go past this red line.
Just looking at
But
statistically speaking, right? Let's say you've got 100 FBI agents that are working on redacting files, redacting the Epstein files. How many of those FBI agents have either themselves or have a child or a sibling that was the victim of some sort of sexual assault or trafficking? Like, statistically speaking,
a
a lot of
large
them.
percentage. I mean, if it's just sexual assault or abuse, or something, I
Mhm,
don't know what the overall population numbers are, but, like, I would say it's probably in line with the
mhm.
population as a whole. I don't think it
And then
would be
it's
that
eh,
different from any other group.
there's nothing in their occupation that necessarily would remove them from, like, there's right,
Yeah.
demographically, just so, like, that, like, and we know also that so many of the reactionary types, Republicans, they will find a conscience when there's an issue that directly affects them. That's when they
Yep,
suddenly
yep,
wake
seen
up
that
and
over and
realize,
over.
oh,
Yeah,
this is fucking horrific. Yeah, it happens all the fucking
yeah,
time.
all the fucking
And
time.
and so, like, it stands to reason that there's going to be some number of people that are like, if I can get away with not redacting this, if so much of this work is being, like, probably poorly overseen, because just look at how fucking
Well,
poorly they handle everything else.
they fired all the competent people and just left loyalists in their place, so, like,
Mhm.
people that are left, like, don't even know where to find the paper clips and shit. Like,
Right,
they're
right,
not sending their best and brightest. Like,
right.
you got people who are gonna praise Trump over anything. So, man, and between that and all the Doge related cutbacks and like
Mhm,
forced early retirements and buyouts and shit, we lost huge chunks of that workforce.
mhm, mhm.
Like, these agencies have been getting staffing cutbacks
Right.
largely.
And
So,
and
like,
it's with how poorly they seem to handle everything. Like they run in with a belligerent mindset and they just take a cleaver to shit, or they just rush through whatever. There's no way that they caught everybody that isn't a loyalist. There's no way and
sure,
and and there's no way they also in that as well, there's no way they actually got rid of all the competent people as well. There's going to be some people
sure.
that stuck around because they just happened to be on vacation the day that Cash Patel showed up with Elon Musk, and they're just pointing fingers at people to fire. It just happened to be out
Yeah,
on a
yeah, yeah,
sick day.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's
Right.
gonna be there's
It's
gonna
just
be
that
dudes
simple
like that.
sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I don't know, like, so to in my mind, it seems like again, you gotta when you've got an like a trope when talking about conspiracies always is that the bigger it gets, the harder it is to maintain the secrecy of that conspiracy. And this is not a
yeah,
secret society anymore that they're trying to maintain, that they're trying to have cloistered. This is an open secret. The information is out there in the open. The
yeah.
only thing
Mhm.
that would make a person not believe in this conspiracy is their political ideology and
Blind
their
cult-like
adherence to
devotion is it's way
right.
beyond political ideology. If you still believe that at this point, it is blind cult level
Mhm.
leader type devotion. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's pathological at this point if you still are following that and ostensibly don't believe in morally things like child molestation and whatnot. So
Right,
it's
right,
impossible to square that circle any longer. Like, you either
right.
have to, yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
And so it stands to reason then by just identification of those two facts, that conspiracies are like those kinds of secrets are impossible to maintain the more people that come to know them, and that those secrets are just out there in the open. This can only get blown wide open even more. This can only
Yeah,
keep showing that Donald Trump is even more complicit, that Elon Musk is even more complicit, that Bill Gates and Bill Clinton and the most fucking
you
overprivileged and
have Prince
disgusting people you can
Andrew,
think of.
like,
Chris Andrew, yeah. Like it it's it can't stay wrapped up, and I wouldn't be surprised if
yeah.
part of that
You can
is, like I
only
said,
make people
yeah.
not believe their own eyes for so long, and it's only
Mhm.
going to work with so much of the population, and that part of the population that's going to be able to completely not believe their own eyes is just going to continue to shrink the more and more that is revealed. Everybody's got their just point where they're going to, at least if nothing else, just become conscious to it, where otherwise they would have been disengaged. It seems insane to me. I can't wrap my head around it, but there's just large chunks of the population that largely don't care.
Mhm.
And somehow all this just earth-shattering, insane news of the day, a lot of people just blow off as it's Tuesday. Like,
Right. Yeah.
which again just baffles me, but it's
I do think for some people it's like it's too big. It's like trying to
well, yeah,
fathom the
it's
of
hitting
the
that
observable
critical mass.
universe. It's
Like,
just yeah, it's too big, and our lives are too short, and
yeah,
and our attentions are pulled in a million different directions, often legitimately. Sometimes that is by design of these power structures that are being supported
Mhm.
and maintained. But I try to be. I understand a little bit. Like I try to be a little bit empathetic to that, but at the same time, it's like there has to be some breaking point. There has to be some line, and I don't. If that line isn't children being trafficked and raped and basically sold off
So,
to the
like,
wealthy
what
for their
could it
own
possibly be?
gratification, yeah, like what could it be? I don't know. I don't know. Like it's hard
Yeah.
to
It's
hold on
amazing, though,
to
how
those.
much that doesn't reach some people, though, especially when you consider just how captured an incredibly large percentage of the legacy media is right now. Like, the
Mhm, mhm,
traditional liberal media
mhm.
is I mean, like, they still ostensibly get the broader picture stuff out there, but to way less of a degree than it warrants. There's just a lot of stuff there's a muting effect going on right now,
Mhm.
just due to the powers that be that own these companies wanting to keep certain things as muted as possible and others amplified. So,
Well, and it's not just in legacy media. It's not just in newspapers and TV. It's media capture online as well.
oh,
There's
absolutely, absolutely.
there's
I
the
didn't mean
right
to like paint
wing.
just that like that specific medium
Oh
of
no,
the
I'm not.
media.
It's not. I'm not saying
Like
that as an indictment to you.
more
Is more.
broadly, yeah,
Yeah, not saying an indictment on what you're saying, just more of an addendum to it. Just like
gotcha.
it's underappreciated, I think, by a lot of people, just how far-reaching, how well-funded, and how widely viewed right-wing news sources that are explicitly and overtly like prostrating themselves to Donald Trump at every moment. How many more of those sources are out there and are well funded than there are left sources. I see a lot of left leaning sources because algorithms, because the way that they're designed
Hmm,
to keep you in some kind of echo chamber
hmm.
for this positive feedback loop of engagement.
There's a lot more,
But
I think, a lot more left-leaning independent journalists where there's the, the a lot more of the somewhat structured, heavily right-wing journalism stuff. Hmm.
I, it's hard to say, man, because like one of the biggest, okay,
Excuse me.
like one of the biggest streamers on Twitch for a long time was Asmongold. And as far as like for
Yeah, this is
political
true. You're
content, and that guy is like, I
which is
mean,
again baffling because that dude is. Um,
I still don't understand how anybody could have like. I didn't mind Asmongold when all he did was play World of Warcraft and talk shit about World of Warcraft. That was fine. That was peak Asmongold being like in his lane, but he's too fucking ignorant, really, to talk about politics. In all honesty, just too fucking
yeah,
ignorant to even be a right wing pundit, to be some like on Twitch, to be
that's
some
saying something.
fucking jockey for the and that yeah, that is really saying something when you've got somebody like Nick Fuentes out there, and the distance between these guys is not
And
that
I want to
fucking great.
know how did so many people go from World of Warcraft into the political sphere? Like, what a weird pipeline that exists between these two things. Like, what
Uh,
is it with World of Warcraft and the weird right wing
it's
political
not World of
sphere?
Warcraft. Well, okay. One, World of Warcraft
Well,
was.
Elon's connected to it, and
So
sorry.
Here's the thing about World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft was the biggest online game in the
Hmm.
world.
Hmm. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
biggest. So
Oh, I know.
like there's a bit of when you've got people that are chronically online enough to start a weirdo right wing podcast talking about looks maxing and putting women in their place and hating the Jews, like it makes sense that they would have played World of Warcraft a lot because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
chronically online, like people that really played a lot of World of Warcraft. I mean, so there's a little bit of like
But I think isn't
a
it sort of like
confirmation bias
wasn't
there, I think.
probably so. I thought it was kind of like almost cultivated a little bit too by Steve Bannon's of the world or somebody who kind of recognized, or maybe I'm just like reading. This is something I don't know very much about, and
So
just
okay,
kind of
I want to get into some conspiracy shit really quick, actually, to
sure,
kind of respond to
please.
this. So for I used to be on 4chan a lot when I was much younger.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I spent a little time on there back in the day.
one thing I noticed about 4chan is whatever the zeitgeist is on 4chan, it's going to bleed into more widely consumed parts of the online culture, like Reddit, as an example. If it's a
Sure,
meme on 4chan,
absolutely.
in 4 hours it's going to be a meme on Reddit. And it was the same
Yeah,
thing with like all of these different online forums and social media sites
yeah.
and things like that. It's just that's how it was. I don't think that's just because the people on 4chan are super popular on these other platforms and they share the memes and shit like that. I actually think there is legitimately a coordinated pipeline moving ideas that are initially shared on 4chan to the wider public.
Mhm.
I feel like
It's
4chan
somewhere you can
is
more safely throw out little trial balloons and see how things
exactly,
flow.
exactly.
You can just like kind of field test little dumb ideas and see what sort of response you get, and just kind of like use some wisdom of the masses, like using the human data of that interaction, like how do people interact with
Mhm.
that, and learning from that
Well,
interaction, and throwing that
and
out.
it's an environment of zero accountability because you're anonymous.
Mhm.
It's an environment like and it's anonymous more than even
Exactly,
like
that's how
Reddit
it
is.
breeds that.
Like it's like
It
there's not
brings out the
even
best and worst and everything in between, and mostly worst of people, so you can really kind of field test some of these like more of our base instincts and lesser parts of human nature. Like you can kind of game those out in real life a little bit.
well, and I think
I
it's
don't know. It's
also
interesting.
it's also a place where very simplistic bots can do a lot to amplify a message because
True.
it's so wrapped up in its own internal like its own internal culture, its own in
Yeah.
jokes that it's
Yeah.
cycling through over and over again and to bump something on 4chan takes no effort. You don't need to, leave any kind of coherent comment or anything like that. You just have to
Yeah.
raise some flag. Like, for
Yeah.
example, and
Yeah.
we see that percolate up again into other parts of online culture, like just saying, for example, something is based. You literally just have a bot that is like scouting for like for example, for like anti-Semitic content on 4chan, and it just comments based.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
that's it. Like it does it.
So
It
it's
takes
programmed to just
no
like drop a
effort.
reference is gonna get
Mhm.
upvote because it's referencing something popular, so it catches a phrase and then drops a "to shreds you say" or something,
Right.
and the crowd laughs.
And it doesn't take any effort to amplify that information. So thinking about
Yeah,
4chan as being like this place for like trial balloons, another like environment for like starting to spread. Uh, God, there's some part of this that's almost like it almost sounds like Alex Jones talking about secret messages that the Illuminati have been putting in our movies for years to force us to subconsciously accept our alien overlords. But you can normalize a lot of this
no, that's
4chan
legit.
shit through games because games are widely played by young men and young men for pretty much all of our recent modern history have a penchant for uh saying risky shit, for risky
I think it
behavior,
probably just take
for attention
that back
seeking.
a few more years, like probably back towards the beginning of recorded history,
Probably so. Probably so.
and
Yeah,
probably even before that. Like we just didn't know
probably
about it
so.
because it wasn't recorded. But yeah,
But
kind
the
of in
attention
the
seeking,
wheelhouse. Yeah,
the attention seeking part of that, not just the risky behavior for the sake of risky behavior, but the risky behavior
I think the males
for
of our species have been peacocking around like that for millennia.
that attention seeking part that is going to be attractive when some message is shared in World of Warcraft global chat that, says that Michelle Obama is actually a man, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's jumping on that bandwagon when there's all the hate against, that is thrown
yeah, yeah, yeah.
out there, like when it riles people up, whatever, like that's that's part of that risky attention seeking behavior.
No, I
It's
feel you. I feel
attractive,
you.
I think, to young men. And I think that's how we see a
Dude, I
pipeline
think we
also
all
for young
probably
men.
did it too. I know I said a lot more just stupid jokes to be kinda edgy,
Mhm. Sure.
and, like, there was no animosity behind it. It was just, like, kinda what was popular in humor at the time is just
Mhm.
saying dumb, edgy shit like that, which
Well, and
is
the thing
kind
is
of
there
sad,
wasn't
I think.
there wasn't like there wasn't an environment at that for a long time, I think, when at least on the internet or in TV and in movies, there wasn't an environment where you had somebody that engaged in that kind of behavior that was seen as like unironically the hero. Right? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
always like, even if they're, some sort of protagonist in a story in some way, they're not the guy, and they're also like still kind of held at arm's length.
yep,
Like, this is the
yeah,
tech
yeah.
guy, and he smells like cum and dirty socks, and he lives his whole life on 4chan, but he helped us break into this vault to get, this information. So he's all right,
Yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah, gotta keep 'em valuable.
now the guy that smells like cum and dirty socks has, 4 million followers,
Vivid description,
and I mean, like,
vivid.
but
We're still talking about that,
that's
Asmongold, right? He's the dude that smells
uh,
like cum and dirty socks?
yeah, I imagine
I've
that
never heard
in
that about him.
mouse feces, just the dirtiest person you've ever, the dirty, like,
Really?
and I mean, like, legitimately filthy. Like, there's a story about he's got a section of his wall, it's called the blood wall, and it's literally from him, like, picking at his gums and wiping the blood on the wall because he doesn't brush his teeth. That's who people get their hot takes about Alex Preddy being mowed down in the fucking street, executed by fucking ICE agents. That's the guy that people will go to for that shit, you know? And it's the same thing, like, we didn't
But
talk about
but
the
how though?
oh, I mean,
Well,
it's
God damn, that confuses me. That I
so
seriously, I have such a hard time wrapping my head around that. Like,
the through line works like this. So, attention seeking, risk taking young men
uh,
parrot hate speech online, and to find some kind of confirmation that they're not terrible people, they need a hero, they need a protagonist, they need a model,
uh-huh,
they need
uh-huh.
somebody that has a community that is appreciative of that kind of behavior, and that's
Yeah,
the niche that Asmongold fills. So, like, the through lines, like, really simple there.
and that's the best they can
They
do for that, though. I mean, like, even for that specific thing, like, you can't do a little bit better than The dude
Well,
that
it's
doesn't brush his teeth and wipes blood on the
well,
wall,
but
like,
that's where Tristan and Andrew Tate are in. That's where Sneeko's in. That's where Clavicular's in. That's
yeah,
where
and
Nick Fuentes is in.
again,
Like,
like, you can't, do a little bit like
but that's the thing is
anyway,
you've
what
got
the
a
fuck
guy.
is Sneeko? And what the fuck is clavicular? I don't even know
I've
what
got
those
I can
human beings are, like,
well it's
seriously, what
again
the fuck is that? Are they
you
just
see a
famous for
person that's
being famous douchebags? Like, are they
well,
entertainers of some sort, ostensibly?
yeah, ostensibly. So Clavicular's whole thing is looks maxing. Are you familiar with looks maxing?
No, what in the that's the
Oh my god.
dumbest
So
thing I've ever
God.
looks
So
maxing. Is he Jean Ralphio from, Parks and Rec?
I did not watch
Like
Parks and Rec, I gotta tell you.
oh,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
I'll tell you then once you describe this person. Looks maxing.
Uh
Lay it on me.
Basically Clavicular is a young guy. He's like 20, 21.
Okay.
He's a young guy. So again, it's like I want to have some empathy because I was a dumbass at 2021, but I don't
Mhm,
think I was
mhm.
this fucking dumb to be associating with people like knowingly at all associating with people like this and also looks maxing, right? This whole thing. So maxing is basically and Clavicula's brand is basically constructing your life around looking as good as possible, but not for a career in modeling, but rather to share advice about like breaking bones in your face to 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 adjust your facial structure and doing meth to stay lean. That's another thing that Clavicular is known for is advocating the use of methamphetamine to keep that beach bod year round.
And this person has a following of, like,
Yes.
lots of people?
Uh,
Like,
I don't know exactly how
lots, like
big clavicular is. I can look that up really quick. Let's see.
I'm
Clavicular.
curious. I really don't wanna know. It's gonna be depressing.
Um, let's see. Stream charts. Kick stats on Kick. Clavicular in the last 30 days has streamed 241 hours with a peak of 38,000 viewers and an average of 9,500 viewers. So the peak might have been because of the whole uh, hanging out with Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes at the bar and singing along to Heil Hitler
Mm,
by Kanye West, you know. Uh,
so good. It's
that could have
just
been from that.
fucking weirdos. God damn.
But that's the thing. That's the thing with the right wing, like smaller influencers. And I would say 10,000 viewers. Listen, that's more than I'm probably ever going to have
That's
in my life streaming. But it's still a bit of the mid end for
mhm,
what is
mhm.
like big enough to get like
They're
national
they're real
notoriety, generally
6'7"
speaking.
at best.
And yeah, and and the but those people get support from those like right wing networks from well, like some of them get direct injections of cash from Russia. Not to suggest that Clavicular is one of those people. I don't know, uh, but
Yeah, that's been a thing for a hot
a
minute.
there's a support for those kinds of right wing influencers and streamers and content creators that exists there that will probably never exist on the left. Uh,
I couldn't see
it just
how, like, it'd
mm,
be antithetical to the value systems of anyone on the left that genuinely believes in the ideals.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, there is always gonna be people that are into both sides just for the aesthetics of it, and that's whatever, but
Mm. Um, so you also Sneeko was one that you said you didn't know. Sneeko
yes, I don't
was
know
another one of
anything
those.
about this. Is he a looks
All
maxer?
those Maybe to a lesser extent. So Sneako's a little bit older. I think Sneako's maybe getting closer to 30 now. Maybe he's like 28. I'm not sure exactly.
Ew.
I think he's close in age to Nick Fuentes. Which I think Fuentes is like maybe 25 or something. I actually don't know. Let me look this up real quick before I just completely. Nick Fuentes is 27. And okay, so is Sneeko. Okay, yeah, so 28, 25, that range is what I was thinking. So yeah, 27 years old. So Sneeko, he's a gamer turned all right, bro. But I will give Sneeko this. He's a bit more boring than a lot of these other guys. But he's known for shit like telling Matt Walsh that transgenderism wasn't created by Nazis, like Matt Walsh claims, but rather it was created by the Jews.
Hmm.
And
Okay, is that
Sneako's also
weird?
he was also a Bernie bro, I guess, at some point, which doesn't make sense given his disdain for Jewish people and his love of Hitler. But
Yeah, that makes 0 sense. Oh my.
hmm.
That is aggressively nonsensical, in fact.
And of course, Nick Fuentes, as you already know, is basically Ben Shapiro for guys that don't like that Ben Shapiro is Jewish and they take out that anger by hate fucking their anime body pillow. So,
Hmm, yep, that sounds about right.
but you get enough of these guys, and again,
How
like
do
you have,
all of those guys, though? Sorry, go
it's
ahead, please.
losers, man. It's losers. I'm telling you, I kind of hate to even use some of this
I
language in a
know.
way talking about younger people because it is like kind of cliquish language that is like silly high school bullshit to some degree. But a lot of people don't grow out of that,
A
and a
little
lot of
bit,
people
but
are
yeah,
being captured
exactly.
specifically because of that. But it's like it's a million different flavors of loser that will
Yeah,
aggrandize themselves by hating other people, and that is attractive to people that are the same flavor of loser. Like it just that's just how it is, man.
yeah. I mean, sadly, that probably sums it up to a pretty large degree.
The
You
only
ain't
way
wrong.
around it, I think, is by continually trying to convince people that these guys that they're watching are in fact fucking losers, and that you don't have to be that way. Like
Yes.
you act, it's so
Yes.
much of that is a choice.
Yeah. If there was a way that you could get people to follow someone who's just encouraging them to have independent thought as opposed to follow me or you or Nick Fuentes or any content creator, follow this thing that encourages you down your own path.
Mhm,
Like, don't follow a thing that tells you what to think, follow a thing that tells you how to think and how to make your own decision.
mhm.
Like just the
Yeah,
neutral option. Why is someone not like aggressively voting neutralism and
I think that
we need to raise a neutral army. If
I
Futurama is ever going to become true, someone has to raise the neutrals.
at some point we're gonna need the neutrals, or else how will we know where the middle really is?
Exactly.
How will Chuck
If I
Schumer
die,
know
tell my
on the
wife I
line?
said hello.
How will Chuck Schumer know what line to die on?
Exactly.
Uh, no, I don't know. But like it seems like a lot of this is born out of, and I would say to some extent, the same thing could be said for things that are like legitimate, quote unquote, like left wing hysteria stuff, like people that are just like way too into to like euphemistic softening language around certain issues and trying
Yeah.
to not be offensive to anybody ever and shit like that. Like,
Yes,
I
I
feel
feel
like some of this is in the same vein, just on the other side of it, and is
true.
a lot less egregious also as far as it's part of our society. But it's this need for external validation. It's this need for validation. They need somebody on the outside to tell them that not only are they okay, but they're right and they're special and they're whatever, and they have no need for introspection or growth. It's this.
But they need more of. That's what almost everybody needs more of. But
Mm,
I mean,
mhm,
most people are not nearly as introspective as they should be. It's, I think benefits all of it.
mm. I agree. I mean, I
It's
absolutely.
just hard to understand the outside world more if you don't understand yourself. Like if you can't
Right,
really process who you are, how do you trust the lens that you're looking at everything else through? Like
right,
I have to trust myself as an arbiter of what I'm seeing in the world.
right. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. Like
No, I mean, it's you're absolutely right. Like, yeah, like if you don't if you don't understand the tools that you're using to make these observations, then how can you trust the observations?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's like it's basic. Honestly, it's like pre-science. You know what I mean? It's like
Well, yeah.
standardization of measure. It's like it's so fundamental, but the way you do it
Essentially,
with
and
something
it does, and
perspective.
it seems inconsequential, but, like, if you don't, like, think about that in any way, if that doesn't kinda contextualize the way you think
Hmm.
about these other things, it is easy to kinda, like, lose your sense of scale in that way and lose your contact points.
Hmm.
Like, it sort of has a grounding effect, you know?
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely, and it's again, it's contradicted by a society that seems to um, really urge people still like despite all this propaganda about the American exceptionalism being born out of the appreciation of the individual as opposed to groupthink. It is born out of groupthink. That's what it is. It's necessarily
Yeah.
like it's finding it necessary to be a part of some identifiable group or caste so that you can have others to compare yourself and feel superior, or you
Yeah.
can find
Well, yeah, it
in
was
that
born out
group
of very,
valid.
very, very, very specific groupthink. I mean, like, the groups of people that came over because, like, their shit was kinda repulsive to the mainstream of society there
Mhm,
because they had some very, very, very specific, ideas of what everyone should be doing and believing and what the in group should be.
mhm. I mean, that's
And
basically
what came over here.
colonialism and nation building at at its core. It's
Speaking
just
of colonialism and nation building, I did see a real kinda ouchy, sorta funny, yesterday, and what was I'm gonna butcher it, but basically it was, man, with all the bad shit going on in America, you'd think it was, like, built on an Indian burial ground or something.
oh fuck.
It's like,
Oh,
"Oh, it
Jesus.
was. Oh, shit.
Oh, wait. Oh,
America was
shit.
built on an ancient Indian burial ground."
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Oh,
Ancient and
oh boy.
modern too. It's from ancient
Yeah,
to today,
oh, yeah,
even.
yes, exactly.
Fuck. So hey, I
But
actually, we've been talking about the right wing influencer
Mm.
sphere. And
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
I'll tell you the truth. Nick Fuentes is like incomprehensible to the point where I honestly, in my mind, I don't see much of a difference between Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones. The specific messaging that they have and their specific politics or
So
whatever might differ, but as
Fuentes
far as
seems a
like,
little bit more coherent.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
I
I
haven't
don't think
watched
that's
enough of.
true.
Yeah,
Especially
you
when
would know,
he
but
especially when he gets into the weeds about this hyper online shit that we just been talking about. Like
yeah,
his idiocy really shows through. I
okay,
don't think he's that well spoken. I don't think he's an intelligent person. I don't think that he's any kind of shrewd manipulator or anything like that. I feel like he is just part of a like contrarian and like conspiracy driven outrage machine. That
that's
is
all he's
all it
got
is.
going on.
I really do.
Zero
I
intellectualism or even faux intellectualism behind it. Even not even
and
a Ben
interpersonal
Shapiro
drama
level of like,
and interpersonal drama,
yeah,
which does drive a lot of this right wing sphere, and not I would say not
just
exclusively,
because,
but because it's so widespread on the internet. But man, creators beefing with other creators is such a magnet to get eyes on the people involved in the drama that like you can only kind of fail upward unless you do a few specific really egregious things. And even if you do some of those specific
yeah,
egregious things, if you're not like a woman or part of
yeah,
another demographic that online bros will not coalesce around, you'll still
yeah.
find people, some of the worst people in the world, to fucking lift you up. Um,
I think it's because that whole group, that mindset is inherently narcissistic. So they all admire these people that are getting ahead by being narcissistic and having more people watching them and liking them. That's the measure
mhm,
of success. So, like, that's what makes you good at this and therefore a good person is like how much selling your brand works, therefore how much selling you and how much
mhm,
admiration you're getting. Like that's
mhm,
the whole engine of it for them.
mhm. Yeah, for a
And
lot
it
of
just it
people, the
rewards that.
only I was say for a lot of people, the only like measure of one's value is clicks, man. It's how many
Yeah,
clicks they
yeah,
get, it's how many followers they have, how many viewers they have at any moment. If you've got more clicks and more followers, you must be right, or else why would you have more? Like, how could you
exactly.
have more if you were wrong?
Yeah, yep. But he sure could yell.
Well, and honestly, it's not too detached from like a might makes right kind of perspective as well. Like
Mhm.
it's just a different
Termite
perspective on what
adjacent
might
to it.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah. And also too, it does help that those clicks bring in a steady flow of cash, and at least the appearance of wealth is
which
itself
is yeah,
so potent. It's such a useful
it
tool for
is.
spreading your message because again, just the appearance of wealth makes people think, well, if he's successful, then how could he be wrong when he says the Jews are trying to program us to hate Donald Trump?
Yeah, he's got all this other stuff figured out. He's making money and lives in this nice McMansion in a nice McMansiony neighborhood. Like,
Hmm.
must be doing something right. Maybe I should listen to that.
Right.
I guess if that's what you aspire to, then sure. But it's sad that that's such a big aspiration for
Hmm.
people. Like, I don't know. I mean, that level of materialism is always just going to be a big part of human
I
society
mean,
and what we want. It's
we talked about it before, dude. Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous was actually a show.
It
Let's go
was.
look at this rich person
And
shit.
coincidentally, that's what you brought up. That dude, the narrator host of that, featured very prominently in this Epstein files. Robin
Really?
Leach. Yeah,
I guess
like
I
straight
guess
up,
I didn't realize it. I
like
guess I didn't realize I didn't put the name together with him being the narrator of.
yeah.
I. Gee,
Hi,
okay,
I'm
because
Robin Leach, and this is Lifestyles. That's a terrible accent, but it's
Oi,
totally
I'm
that dude.
Robin Leach.
Yeah, that's I don't know where. Real bad, real bad. I'm gonna blame it on tired and beer or something.
Oh my god. Ah, that guy.